So I just want to pop on and speak to those of you who are self-employed about what's available out there following the government legislation in response to COVID-19. So first of all, let me clear up what they mean by self-employed. So by self-employed, what they mean is you're a sole trader or you're a partnership. And also you have completed a tax return for at least 1 year, and that's the 2018-19 tax year. Okay, so what are you actually entitled to? Well, if you are self-employed, first of all, check that you completed at least your 18-19 tax return. If you haven't got that done and it's late, you need to get that done within the next couple of weeks or you will not be eligible to this grant. So that's an important factor. Another thing you need to look at is what was your trading profit for the last 3 years. So look at your tax return, see exactly what your trading profit was, and also check out to make sure that that profit from your sole trader, or your partnership, effectively your self-employment profit, was at least 50% of your total income. So that's quite easily, it's quite easy to find that out by looking at your 2018-19 tax return. Secondly, what are you actually entitled to? Well, you're entitled to 80% of the average over those 3 years. So how will that be calculated? Well, what we believe the HMRC will do is they will look at your last 3 years trading profit, they will add them up and they will divide it by 36 to get your average monthly profit, and then you will be entitled to 80% of that. There is no application process, that's something we've been asked a lot about, but no, you don't have to apply. HMRC will actually contact you if you're eligible to receive this grant. And whenever they contact you, they will actually calculate what they believe that you're due in terms of a grant. You will get that grant, 3 months of it, paid probably around June time. We don't know the exact date, but we do know that they're working behind the scenes on getting all of this data together so that they can pay that directly to you. But it's very much the ball's in their court. They will be contacting you, and therefore if you're worried about how you receive that grant, you don't need to do anything at the moment, other than I would advise you to go and look at the last 3 years tax return. First of all, see if it's 50% of your income, your total income, or more, and then maybe add up those 3 years figures, divide it by 36 months, because there's 36 months in the 3 years, and then apply 80% of that, just to see approximately what you will be getting. Is that taxable? Yes, it is taxable, and it will go on your tax return for the 2021 year. Isn't that right? Yeah, 2021 year. But yeah, it's unfortunate for those who have maybe only started self-employment in the last, couple of weeks, couple of months, because you did need to have completed a 2018-19 tax return in order to be eligible. I know that there's a bit of annoyance around this from the public, because obviously there are people who should be entitled to this because they've maybe give up their job and started their own business, but as yet we don't have any information that that's going to change. I'll pop the guidance, just the link to the guidance, directly below this recording, but do please get in touch. First of all, especially if we complete your tax return for you, get in touch and we can of course look back over the last number of years and give you a good estimate of what the grant total might be that you will receive around June time. So that's not ideal again from a cash flow point of view, because you've obviously you've bills to pay, you have maybe children to look after, you have groceries to buy, etc. But what the government are advising is that you apply for universal credit in the meantime. Now just be aware that universal credit will look at the total income of your household. So if you have a partner who is still working, it's likely that you won't receive this universal credit, but I would still have a go at it. If you're also still struggling, you could look at the business interruption interest-free loan. I know that it hasn't been the most straightforward process in order to get basically money directly into your bank account. I've had a number of people who have been on with me who have tried, but just the other day I believe that the Chancellor over in England did announce that he was going to make this process a lot more straightforward. So fingers crossed for that, because obviously most of us can't wait until June to get this money, especially if your business has closed down and you're relying on zero income. One other thing to note is, unlike the employee retention scheme, if you're self-employed and you're due this grant, you can continue to work. So that's absolutely allowed. So I hope this has answered all your questions. I'm going to go because my hubby is fixing our front step, and I thought he was finished with the drilling, but he's not, and I can't complain because it's only been about 4 years we've been wanting to do this for, so I'm not going to stop him. So have a great day, and if you have any other questions or I can clarify anything, just pop them in the comments below.